Oh, well, Collingwood won in the end. It was 6 points to them. So there's, I think that's Nick, is it? Or is that the other one? Nick Dacos? Yeah, I think it's Nick Dacos, isn't it? Who's the other one? Josh, yeah. So, yeah, that was a win to Collingwood. I was just wanting to comment. Oh, I get a bit annoyed with YouTube because I have all these fantastic ideas. I can't really prove them. They're just, concepts I believe in. And I come up with stuff and I put it on YouTube and I don't get any response or comments. I mean, there's just so many comments on YouTube. And so many videos, it's hard to get feedback, really, isn't it? I was just talking about pi the other day on this Neil deGrasse or something? Neil deGrasse. Anyway, he's a physicist, kind of a celebrity, I guess, or a teacher or something. Yeah, and I was on one of his posts. I'll put it in the comment section, his link. But yeah, I had a comment there about, he was talking about, religion and, what else was he talking about? I think the shape of the universe or something, or the shape of something to do with that, or how the universe was created, or something like that. And it got me onto this theory I have of pi, the calculation 3.142, I think it is. You work out the circumference of a circle, or even the area of a circle. I think you can use pi once you have the circumference, yeah. But, I believe that it's my own theory. I haven't tested it thoroughly, but it's just the concept I perceive and I believe in, just from observations and that pi is actually not quite correct, that because of the shape of our eye and the way our eye is designed with rods and things, we don't quite perceive the world perfectly. Our eyes are a little bit off. I think if our eyes were more like a field of vision rather than a pinpoint through a pupil, because the light that we see is what gets through our pupil, so if we strain our eyes, the pupil gets more pinpricked in the sun, it lets in less light, or less energy. So it's my theory that pi is actually equal to 4, not 3.142 or whatever. And that circles are actually slightly elliptical when you look at them, but we actually create them a little bit off, not quite straight, So when we look at them, they look okay, but in reality, they're a little slightly bit off. But I'd love to test that theory somehow in a physics lab or something, or a workshop. The way to actually work out a circle is you have to sort of take about 100 different measurements of the circle's diameter, radius, and then you can work out the circumference and by using pi equals 4. So I'm not even sure those formulas they use are actually spot on either. It might be a little bit off. But in those formulas, the closest representation to how to work them out, I think, would be pi equals 4, more of a round number. I think that other one, it calculates it very close, but it's just slightly off, because a circle should actually look slightly elliptical, not quite round, because in reality it's round, but our eyes see it a bit off. And the way I compare it is like, if you see this box, if you look at the sides of the box, they look almost like they're dipping in a bit at the edges, either side, around the middle. They look like they're almost sort of going like that in a bit. either side, and that's what our eye does. And even this screen, when you look at your phone screen, it looks like it's dipping in a little bit. That's what our eye does, because it's got round rods in there. So if the rods were probably flat, it'd look different. Everything would look a bit square or something, but sort of rods make everything look rounded and textural, So yeah, that's just my theory anyway. Scientists may disprove it straight away, or they might think about it more and actually try to work out how reality really looks that our eyes can't quite figure out, because our brains are adjusting for touch and feel and distance, and we kind of almost, that's how magic sort of happens, and it can happen in a good way or a bad way. Illusion is sort of a bad sort of magic, and magic itself is a good one, like excitement or something. So, but illusion or delusion comes more from a negative sort of evil feeling, and real magic, excitement, and sort of fantasies and all that sort of stuff comes from the real positive light of magic, which is what I sort of turn my life around, just realizing that all my thoughts changed into more positive, and I just sort of went to heaven in that moment. Not that moment, but that period when I realized that I didn't have to be a bad person. I didn't have to be bad and be bad to people to fit in, be accepted. I could be a force in the world, be good, and that's what I really cherish, is that feeling of being that force in the world. So when I have these ideas, they come from a good place. They're not me trying to screw someone over or anything. I just want the world to be more functional, more exciting, more magical, more light and more happiness, and to be what people really want it to be, There's people probably out there thinking, oh no, I want to shoot everyone, I want to hurt everyone, that comes from damage in your body, you're reacting to the evil, to the damage, to the hurt, to the pain, to the suffering, and ultimately it leads to an early death, so I just think you can live as long as you want if you have this attitude. I don't see any reason why you couldn't. If you can create a new dimension with this power of good and just shift the world into it and sort of move through, and that become the reality, and move with it and sort of transition from life to life, there's no reason why you can't live forever, or conceptually live forever. You probably have to transform and give that sort of part of your life a rest and move on to a new sort of time. But I still like the idea of dying and coming back and starting over again. It just seems a waste, you're just starting over as a baby again, and you're trying again, So I'd like to step off that karmic sort of wheel and just become a Sri Krishna, the idealized Indian version of what the Superman is, or a god or a godhead or whatever they call it, I like using that idea of Sri Krishna. And it probably offends people, but I identify with that, because he has a lover and he has a family and friends, and he's not just stuck up on a cross, he's part of the community, and he's happy, and he's in love with the animals and the nature and all the things that are good. I think within that there's always a place for the modern world and technology in some respect, and I think it's all a bit of a mess and needs refining, though. It definitely needs refining. But it's just like a big sort of orgy at the moment with technology, isn't it? It needs to just refine back to those diamonds, the real precious thing we want to keep out of it all, I think. But anyway, I'm going to switch on the Formula One, have a look, see how they're going, and get back to you later on, tomorrow or something. See ya.